Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon, presented by Tuckasegee Fly Shop, with locations in Bryson City and Sylva, North Carolina. Be sure to follow the crew on Facebook at Tuckasegee Fly Shop, Instagram at Tuck Fly Shop, and YouTube at Tuckasegee Fly Shop for the latest information and instructional videos. Be sure to visit tuckflyshop.com for all things fly fishing in Western North Carolina and beyond. Hey, remember, the online store is always open. Today's episode is brought to you by Brady's Handmade Net. Purchasing a Brady's Handmade Net ensures that you will not only have a net, but an heirloom for generations to appreciate for years to come. Pride, professionalism, and attention to detail are all traits found in a Brady's Handmade Net. Visit bradyshandmadenets.com for more information. I'm your host, Big Messer, joined by Bobby the Bearded Wonder Bennett, Coach Dale Diesel Collins, and special guest, the Georgia Drifter.
He's back. Man, we had so much fun the first time. We thought you'd bring you back.
Well, I appreciate
I know you've
that.
got more stories too.
Hey, he wore his hat too. You see that?
He's got on the hat. He's got the buff around his neck. I'm not saying you're buff, but he's got the buff.
I mean, yeah.
Steve's worked out
he's
once
athletic.
or twice.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, all right, man. We got the crew here. It's the first
Yeah.
time we've had everybody in the new recording area, which is in the fly tying section.
Yeah,
as
I'm
you
up
can
in
tell.
Montana, and I get a picture, and it says it's from Bobby, and it's a picture of a fixture. Are you okay if we throw this away? I'm like, well, I'm not really in a position to have a say. I'm getting off a river, and I get the text like 5 hours after he sent it. But
We waited till the next day to throw him away, though. I waited for your response
They actually tried to call you while you were out there.
a couple times.
Somebody
man, when you're down in the water, like, I could have service up on the bank. You go down, well, there was no service. So the voicemails were hilarious.
But we did salvage part of it.
Yeah.
We got part of it up over here on the wall. We increased the
That
the
is part
space
of
over
that
here.
is part of one
That
of
is
those
part of it
pictures.
over here.
And we saved two others.
We saved two others. So we've actually we didn't
Brilliant.
Right. that's
50% of it got thrown out.
Yes.
We recycle 50%.
And some of it wasn't in great shape anyway.
No.
So we're still to the good.
Yeah,
To the
no,
good,
that's
man.
great,
We're
man.
to the good. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, what's on the happenings?
There's a lot of things on the happenings. You know what's on the happenings? We're like, how far away are we from delayed harvest?
Well,
How
Great
far?
segue.
How far away are we?
approximately 31 days starting, tomorrow,
You.
right? So October 1st, tomorrow's September 1st. So October 1st, the rules change. October 1st, the rules change.
Yes.
Single hook, artificial on delayed harvest. Everything's kind of right now, what hatchery supported technically.
Yeah.
Is basically what it goes to.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll start dumping fish, they being NC Wildlife. What we got? Big snowbird. We got it right here.
Hot off
Yeah,
of the printer.
Shake it.
Shake it. Don't break it.
Everybody can hear it.
This just in. Wilson Creek.
We need
will
that
be
little
stocked.
We need more
the
news with
typewriter thing. Like the telegraph.
So it's interesting. Last year, and we kind of talked about this a little bit today.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple years, really, there's been big to do fish kills on the Tuck, and oh my gosh, Duke Energy, there's dead fish on. I've never seen any of the dead fish,
Nope.
but the water's been warm in October when they stock the fish still,
Right.
and this year, it seems like they got a little smarter about it. So the creeks are going to stock early. So the upper Nantahala is going to be a little cooler sooner than the Tuck. So they're putting them in, October 2nd. Big snowbird, October 1st.
Yeah.
So that will be a lot of fun right there out of the gate. Normally, it's like October 1st. The rules go into effect. Then we got to wait a few days for the fish to show up. But
Right.
so the Tuck for Jackson County, you're looking at October 8th and October 12th.
Yeah.
So 2 rounds. And then over in Swain County, you're looking at October 9th. So, that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I think they got the West Fork of the Pigeon on the 1st, maybe?
West Fork of the Pigeon, October 1st. Big Snowbird, October 1st. Fires Creek, October 6th. A lot of our listeners that may get over to, things like Wilson Creek, you're looking at October 8th. Shannon, you hadn't been to the ditch, have you?
I've been in a ditch before, but actually, I sailed through the ditch.
So
Different ditch, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Different
right.
ditch.
Here's our Navy story.
Yeah.
So, bing,
Ding.
check that one off the list.
Yeah.
The Mitchell River.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that thing called the ditch up there in Stokes County, right there in the Piedmont Triad area. So the Mitchell, it gets stocked October 1st. So is that right? Yeah, October 1st. Yeah, Ararat River, October 9th.
The Ararat just sounds like a trout river, like Ararat.
I thought that's some boots.
I think
Ariat. That's Ariat, right?
Depends on how you say it.
It depends on if you use the
But
southern.
Ararat, that's a neat little place. It's basically Mount Airy.
Okay.
And it's right there, right at the Virginia border.
Okay.
North Carolina, Virginia border.
Nice.
Kind of the parkway is not too far from there.
Mm-hmm.
Pilot Mountain.
But I'm pretty certain, yeah, it's just north of Pilot Mountain. The Ararat River, I haven't fished it, but I think that section runs like right through Mount Airy. Like there's a greenway, and like it's not really.
You can go there and
Is it
get
a
your
tail race?
No,
You know, Mount Airy's like supposedly whatchamacallit, Andy Griffiths.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Mayberry.
You ever been to Mayberry?
No.
Mount
Braden
Island.
wants to go.
Kind of.
Go up there and
It's
see.
all right. You can go get you a hot dog, get your hair cut at the barber shop.
Thelma Lou still lives up there, right?
There you go.
Spruce Pine or somewhere up in there.
Thelma Lou.
Hilton Creek, October
Thelma
1st. That's fun. Hilton Creek's a fun one.
Is it?
I need to take y'all to some of these places.
Yeah.
It's 8 miles. It stops at the Virginia border.
We still ain't got the Cold Springs, and now you're talking about going.
Well,
up
that's
yonder.
Hatcheries. But don't talk about Cold Springs.
Oh, ain't nobody know how to get to it.
You go down I-40 and you turn right.
Hey, so are you
Takes
gonna,
you
are
many
you gonna be
different
here when
ways,
they
too.
stock? So
Yeah.
Steve, you're gonna call us and say I just saw the stocking truck.
And I'll tell you exactly where it's at.
That's
We got eyes on River Road.
That's right. we have it.
I always see them.
Tipped out.
I always know because I see them the stocking truck at Taco Bell. Cowboys need a break.
Coco will be happy.
Yeah.
Coco will be happy. There's food in the river.
Now, I've seen them stop several times on the Webster Bridge and throw them off the
Yeah.
bridge.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they do. That's
They-
the easy spot to stock them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of times people get mad, like, "Oh, you're treating the fish wrong. Just throwing them up in the air." You know, like you're supposed to like ease them into the water, massage their backs as they go in. But Bobby, you can give us a little more details on the good of
You want
that.
me to be all scientific. Supposedly,
Bobby's our resident biologist
supposedly
for the day.
when they get thrown up in the air and they hit the water, it expels the CO2 that's built up while they were in the tank, in the truck, traveling. So it's actually helps revive the fish and make them a little more lively and they swim off. And honestly, if you've ever helped stock, if you notice, if you just kind of ease the net in, like half the net goes limp and they're all sideways and they look like they're going belly up and you're like fighting with all of them trying to get them to swim off. If you take them and toss them up in the air about 5 feet in the air and let them hit, there's no belly up.
Yeah.
Like they swim off. It really does hold true.
But it's probably about
It's like
30
getting
off that
slapped in the
Webster
face.
Bridge.
Yeah.
Now, there's some streams down in Georgia. They put stocking tubes in,
Oh, really?
8-10-inch pipe. They just dump them in the pipe.
They just shoot them in the river, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know, you've seen them dump them out of those planes.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a couple hundred feet they're dropping.
Helicopters,
Yeah.
planes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, they verified what Bobby just told us at our TU meeting when they came over from the hatchery and did that presentation, and someone asked about
Yeah.
that. And I guess when they're in the truck, man, they're getting drunk on that water pretty much, man. It's highly concentrated to keep them alive. And then
Yeah.
whammo. It's like smacking a baby on the butt when it's born.
that's it. That's it.
Somebody got to do it.
Slapped by your wife. Wakes you up. You go, oh, yeah. You're right.
Tell us more, Bobby.
Oh, man. And on to the new news. So there is a big announcement. I'll let Dale's going to talk about this one, too, because he's got it in front of him on his computer here. So,
Well, with this news, I may have to give Bobby some competition on his Scott ambassadorship because I'm super excited about this, and I've been big on Scott rods as well, but somehow I always find a Sage in my hand. But that's going to be changing soon.
Yep.
So yeah, starting this fall when you fish with me, you're going to fish Scott's new Centric freshwater fly rod. It's called the Centric,
Yes.
not center, not centerish, Centric. Okay, so this is replacing the Radian. So
which has been around a long time.
Radian, man, it was 6 years.
I think it's like 8.
Is
I'm
it
not
really?
sure. It's been around
Wow.
a while.
So, and that's the great thing about Scott is they make something so good. that it's going to be able to have that long run. Like they didn't replace the Radian until they felt like they had something that could do better than the Radian.
Yeah.
So, Centric Rods combine new tapers, multi-modulus layups, new resin system, most efficient Scott rod ever created, high line speed, flat, stable loops. And that's one thing. These rods, I mean, they don't cast for you, but they get the loop for you. You know, you can just do a little flick and oh, there's a loop. So that it really is nice.
Warranty.
Lifetime. I mean, it's Scott's,
Yeah, it's their normal warranty.
within
Their serial number.
the serial number. And outside of that serial number, and it takes like 10 years, right? To get
It's more
outside.
like 20, I
Is
think. Yeah.
But it is, I think it's like 150. But I mean, they'll always repair it. But I know when they do their repairs, they roll the piece. So they're not just pulling one off a shelf and, slapping it in the mail. Yeah, it's, I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get mine.
Our rep said that it was 30% lighter than the Radian.
Yes.
And the Radian is really light.
Yeah.
And I can't compare it because I don't have the one he showed us was a 4-weight.
Yes.
So I've only got a 5-weight Radian. So I can't compare apples to apples really, but it was light.
Yes.
They've changed some stuff up on it. Looks good. It's weird when you give it the Fly Shop wiggle or the Silva shake,
Right.
Waynesville wiggle.
or the Bryson City bounce, as
Right.
Shannon likes to call them.
That's right.
It feels a lot stiffer than what you think it actually is. You're gonna wiggle it and be like, "Oh, I don't really like." You have. Our rep even said this. He said you've got to cast it to actually give it justice. So the wiggle won't work. It sounds like.
Yeah.
100% of the rod made in the USA.
Yep. Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's a good looking rod. It's got some nice new components on it.
guides
There as well. The guides and stuff, man. It's legit.
You bought what? Did you get a title? Is that what you bought? from
Yes.
us?
Yes.
So what did you think about the title?
Oh, I love
just
it.
talking about Scott rods in general.
I love it. I'm throwing a lot tighter loop, and
Yeah.
yeah. I had a blast with it.
And that's just their like price point kind of saltwater rod. I mean, it's
Right.
it's-
and I hope to get a 6-weight.
Right.
Sub 500.
Mhm.
Roughly, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's 475 or something like that.
Yeah. So some good news from Scott right there.
Yeah, I mean, they just make good all around rods for the applications that they're used for. So
Yeah.
I'm pumped about it. I think we
Yeah.
all are. We'll see. We've actually had some people in the shop that somehow knew more about it than us.
And we're like, what? I didn't know the name of it yet. And then, of course, we got to see it with our rep. And so at that point, I went to see if I could find it online. I couldn't find anything. I just wanted to see what are they finding.
Yeah.
But yep, so 9/1's official release date. We actually have had these on order for for how many weeks now?
Dale's holding up pictures.
That's
Yeah.
sexy.
That's
It
a
is.
guy.
No, it is. It is pretty sexy.
That's a
no doubt.
zirconia
Yeah.
insert. Oh man, that's just it's going to
No,
be good.
it's legit.
So
It's
one
legit.
one thing about it that people may give it a knock on is it doesn't have rebound eyes on the fish guides.
where you can like just
And-
bend them down and they
And
go-
the reason they didn't do that, our rep told us this, is what they were having problems with in cold weather is when you bend it down by accident. You know, some people do it on purpose to show you how it works. It wouldn't rebound because it just so
The molecules.
yeah,
hey man, this rod's awesome. Watch this.
and it doesn't come back. So
All my rods are like that.
yeah. So basically, they changed it to snake eyes, which is cool. I like the way those look, but they're high quality snake eyes.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
friction and everything with the line going through it are going to be great.
Yes.
So just know that that's something that some people may be like, man, they don't have the same eyes on it that other rods have, but that's the reason. And you got to realize these are being made in Colorado. They fish a lot of cold climate out west, and we do here on the East Coast too, but not quite as cold as that. I was actually talking to somebody that lived in Jackson, Wyoming. He went out there for skiing yesterday. I was talking with him, and he was telling me he worked out there for several seasons. He's like, yeah, man, it'd be 60 below. He's like, we couldn't run the lifts until it got to -18, and then we could turn the lifts on at the skin. I was like, gosh, man.
Wow.
But that's just
I
normal
think
for
I'll just
them.
drink coffee.
Yeah,
Right. That's right.
Hot
that's
cocoa.
normal for them. So
Yep. So we got 4 weights and 5 weights.
Oh, we do.
Yep, coming.
8, 6, 4. What we got? 9.
Yeah. There's yeah.
Can't
we-
remember.
We did different
Yeah.
sizes, but
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were first
yeah.
on the list, though. I mean, we were first. We were first on the list.
Well,
We put in our order before anybody else in this.
they probably told
region.
everybody that. I bet he called
Thanks,
and said, "You're the
man.
first one to order them. Thank you so much."
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, man.
But wait, there's more.
And wait, there's more. That's right. Everybody needs the Ron & Co. rhinestone maker, right? Yeah. Anyway, exciting news from the folks there at Scott Fly Rod. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's right. Absolutely.
So, kind of the main topic today. That is all the happenings, right? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, just throughout,
we'll do a fishing report here
yeah,
later.
the Norvise thing coming up October 17th
right,
as
yeah.
well. So we'll have that coming up for sure. And really, as we get deeper into September, we'll have a whole lot more intel on that. But just go ahead and mark your calendars. Plan to be here at the Silva, 530 West Main
Steve's
Street.
putting it in right now.
He's putting it in. Going to have Tim O'Neill from Norvise. Going to have Braden Miller from Miller Time Flies. So basically, you look at a show.
I'll be here.
Bobby
That's
will
the
be
reason
here.
to
I'll be
show up.
here. So that's right, man. Come see Bobby. But we're basically going to have a show inside the fly shop here. A lot of great things being demoed here at the shop.
I'll
Get
be
to see
serving
different
drinks.
things. So good
Dale's
time to come
bartender.
by. I already had folks contacting me telling me they're coming. So if the people come that telling me we're going to have a great turnout, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
Should be fun.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of it until we get into what we're talking about today.
Well, and hey, with those new ordinances with the town of Silva, I think we'll be able to spread out onto the street.
Oh, we can have our own dining area outside.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah, man! Why
Throw
not?
up some tables.
Let's
and-
party.
Nope, they passed that. Ain't no other restaurants done it yet.
Pass it party like in
Is it
1999.
like completely past where it's like
Oh
been
yeah,
written-
town approved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
yeah.
Let's just put tables out there.
I think I mean,
That's
You
what
know what we're
gotta do,
talking
right?
about, Steve?
I have no idea.
They approved that you could put dining area in parking.
In parking spaces.
Yeah.
because dining inside's limited. So
Good deal.
let's just take out 107 and set up some tables.
Put a grill.
Well, I
out
mean,
there.
we had a sage demo weekend, and
Right.
I mean, we were out here in the turn lane out here, just slinging 7 weights down Main Street. So it was a lot of fun.
We've kind of got a rustic area over here in the corner that's not been finished, so we can maybe do we're out here in the woods, in the dirt and playing it too.
Yeah, the going joke with the county is when that becomes a swimming pool.
Yeah.
So
If it wasn't for
get
the
it done.
pipe kind of draining out, we'd have a casting.
at least we
pond.
got the crime scene taped down.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
Thank goodness. Yeah, thank goodness.
So today, the big topic for today is something. It's going to be just kind of a discussion more than anything is, and that's part of the reason we got Steve here because he's been out there a lot and he's got a couple good stories, I'm sure. But Dale and Shannon just both got. Well, Dale, it's been a couple weeks, but Shannon just literally got back this weekend from our Montana trips. So it something fun to talk about and hear some of their stories and why they enjoy it and what the clients said and all that good stuff. So I think we'll get into that and let these guys do a little more talking. I'm just going to sit here and just sip water, make funny comments. So Shannon, since yours was the most recent, what was the best part?
Laughing. Man, it was out there with a good group of guys, Eric, Walt, Dale and Jeff. It was really a great time. And as always, our folks out there at Big Sky Anglers, Steve Hoovler, Nicholas, all those folks, Nicole, they all do a great job. And it's just a great place to be out there. And it was a wonderful trip. It was really a trip. I think our guys, the expectations going into it, the uncertainty of travel and things like that, but they did it to a T, man. The folks were very impeccable at the lodge, and just being around those guys, and I've known Eric for like 5 or 6 years now, but getting a chance to meet Walt and Jeff and Dale, a different Dale.
Not Diesel.
Not Dale Diesel, but Dale Payne. Dale Payne. Dale Payne. So, and Dale was a quiet dude, and then he would cut loose on these jokes, and like, what just happened? Where did that come from? So it's like he sat in the back of the Suburban, like thinking of material. And then when it was time to cut it loose on the joke, he would, and we're like, we're all shocked. But it was really good stuff. But it was a great time. Fishing was good. The weather was good. A little smoky when we first got out there from the fires, but
That's just normal.
I
for
mean,
being
it's
out
just
west.
normal. I mean, it's just the way of life out there. But good time, man. A lot of funny stuff. A lot of
So,
funny stuff. I
both-
can't say. A lot of funny stuff I can't say on there. I mean, I
figured-
could,
I
but
think
we're
we all
not.
figured
But we're
that.
not going to.
We'll have to make sure on YouTube this is marked not for kids. for
Nobody
sure.
was streaking. Let me just say that there was no streaking. Let's just say that. So we were all good.
Steve's getting a
That
picture
will
of us
admit
all.
it, right?
No, it really wasn't. Not that we seen. So yeah.
So you both got to fish the Madison.
Yes.
Did y'all both fish box? Did you fish
Yeah,
box?
no,
Steve?
we did.
Yeah.
So and then you did Lamar.
I did Lamar and so did Butte. Because I went off on my own on day 2. Because my trip was shorter than Dale's. So my trip had 3 days of fishing back to back to back days, where Dale's had 4 days.
We had 2 a day off, and then 2, but we we fished on the day off.
Right. So it was a little different. And so on day 2, I went off and did my thing with the direction of Mr. Steve saying, hey, go down here to the Cottonwood. That's where Lamar meets up to the Soda Butte. Go back up through there and fish that. And they went up and kind of fished the Soda Butte area. So day 2 was kind of, I was semi on my own. I mean, I fished on my own. They just said, hey, go over here, and I would just go fish. And then the first day was the Madison, and the last day was the Box Canyon.
Of the Henry's Fork.
Of the Henry's Fork.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Snake.
how our trip was.
Henry's Fork of the Snake.
Yeah, it's
There's so many.
West Chesterton Fieldville, Iowa. Anybody seen Mr. Deeds?
Long name.
Oh my gosh. So
But Box Canyon is actually above the Harriman Ranch.
Right.
On the Henry's
It's
Fork.
upstream, yeah.
So it's upstream of it, kind of north, I guess north general of Island Park. And you put in at the dam of the lake, and you float down to Island Park.
you know, when I found, I asked Nicole, and she was rowing the boat that day. She was guiding me in about the release, and that's really controlled by farmers.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I didn't realize.
Out
So
in Montana, yeah, there's a big battle between fishermen and farmers. out
right,
there.
but she said there's actually I wouldn't say like a coalition. It's not the right word, but there's a group that really has raised enough funds where they can kind of fight, like make sure that there's enough water for both.
Yeah,
Right there.
there's
to
a good
kinda-
balance.
There's
It's
a
gotta be.
balance there, but
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's definitely for how much water they need downstream for irrigation.
Same thing. John and I had the opportunity to fish Ruby River. And I mean, it's no bigger than Scotts Creek, but it's coming out of a lake. And, we shouldn't have been fishing that in the summer, but it was cold because they're the farmers, and there's a ton of ranches. I mean, downstream it's going in Twin Bridges and Sheridan and all that. There's a ton of huge ranches in there. They all need water.
Yeah.
They got to have it.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different resource. And here it's hydroelectric
Right.
demand. So it's neat.
Yeah.
Steve, have you fished Box Canyon?
I have. It's been probably, 15 years ago.
Oh, really? That
But
long?
we would fly in and fish the park, Yellowstone Park, and then we'd take a few days and go down to Island Park. And there used to be a hotel there right on the banks called the A-Bar Hotel, and it was in the shape of an A-frame, and it had like 12 rooms in the upstairs, and the downstairs was a restaurant and a bar. So after you finished fishing, you could go in, have your meal, and your room was right above it. But and then I'm trying to think, Henry Fork Anglers,
Yeah.
Mike Lawson.
Yeah.
He moved his shop to right across from the A-Bar and built this beautiful, I don't know if you've seen it or not, log structure that is his fly shop.
Yeah.
And last time I was in there, he's like, come on, let me show you something. I want to show you something. So we went back through the clothing area, back to the back corner, and he had a cold water aquarium there with cutthroat trout in it. And, and that was back before.
The OG fly tester.
Yeah.
Trout in the fly shop program.
But yeah, he's the one I was telling you had the leather sofas and the little
Yeah.
sunken talking areas, hanging out area, lie
Yeah.
area.
Steve's trying to talk us into having a lounge in here.
He is. He's wanting. He said, "Do away with the podcast and put leather sofas in here."
Yeah, and a coffee machine. You come in here for a cup of coffee and you walk out with a fly rod,
And then he's gonna want popcorn and
beer,
all the
draft beer.
Yeah, we'll have to bring the kegerator
I
back.
have to bring the keg.
all that
over.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, you can hang out in Island Park for 2 or 3 days and have plenty of water to fish. You got the Harriman Ranch right there.
We were actually talking about that earlier about how tough that is.
yeah,
that is
very
not
technical. Slope. Did
yeah.
you see the water down there?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure did.
Wide and slow, and the vegetation is just undulating in the current. So there's no stripping streamers.
Yeah.
All surface activity. And you get down below toward the bridge. I forget the name of the bridge. But,
Yeah, and it turns into some rapids and stuff.
yeah, you
down
get some
through there.
pocket water, and then you can throw your big hoppers. You get out. It's kind of odd because the way we would do it, we'd get out in the middle of the stream and throw back toward the bank. And that's where the fish were hanging out with hoppers, big foam hoppers. But yeah, awesome fishery.
That's
It
what's so
is,
much
man.
fun about it out there. It's just the hoppers.
It is. It's a good time, man.
Yeah. Throwing big stuff.
It's not. I mean, and next year, I asked Steve. I was like, hey, how this week for next year? He's like, it's yours. So and we always try to time this trip with the hopper bite. And
Yeah.
you don't want to get there too late because the fish start to get wise to the hoppers. And they start to be real sneaky eats, and refusals, and so we try to get it up there, and he said it's higher. So next year, same time, hopefully we'll time it just perfect with that peak hopper bite. But it's fantastic. It's not of if you're going to throw hoppers, it's which one.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the thunder thighs? Is it going to be the which is
panty
so
dropper?
Oh boy,
The panty dropper that led to some interesting stories.
I bet
the
so.
Panty dropper hopper.
Yes.
I bet it did.
And so, but you had a video. I think you're on a Yellowstone, and you cast over the tree. Didn't you lay your fly line over the tree, and you got that eat from the?
Yeah, that was kind of sneaky. It was a
That would've
golden
been
stone. That
it'd
actually
been
was a golden stone.
Okay, river right.
Yep.
You did that right there and hooked up on that fish.
Yeah, we were sight fishing that day.
Yep.
Actually watching a video of Doug reeling in a monster 24-inch cut. That one, that particular one, we got it on the nymph.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was kind of glued down to the bottom.
Yeah.
But no, I mean the golden stones. If it wasn't, you reminded me of that, Shannon. Big old foam golden stones. I mean, I don't know. There wasn't much difference to me from some of the hoppers we were throwing in this golden stone, but. The Yellowstone fish, the Yellowstone River fish cuts, they were keyed in on some golden stones that day.
Yeah, that's a neat.
But
fishery,
John and Tom crushed them on hoppers.
Yeah, isn't that a neat
On the
fishery?
Yellowstone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we were throwing like, we're like
It was like a
small.
spinner fall as well.
Great
Yeah,
Drake,
spinner,
probably
yeah.
Great Drake spinner. That's
Yeah,
what we were.
we were. Yeah, small stuff there for sure. But isn't that a wonderful fishery up through that stretch
Oh,
of
it's
water
beautiful.
up through there?
There's the Great
You
Drake
fished the
spinner.
Yellowstone in the park?
Mhm.
You've done that
Yeah,
too, right?
Yeah, well, one year we went backpacking down in the canyon there right outside of Mammoth, and
Yeah.
just happened to, by accident, right in the middle of the salmon fly hatch. And you could hear those things clicking when they took off, and they get like halfway across the river, and they just fall. And the big cutthroats would just come up real slow and inhale them. And then I fished Buffalo Ford.
Yeah.
You ever fished there?
Mm-mm.
It truly is a Buffalo Ford.
Yeah.
This was probably, 10 years ago. I was in Blue Ribbon Flies, and there was the shop was crowded. I walk in, and this young girl comes up and says, "Can I help you?" She looked like she might have been 15. I'm thinking, okay. So I said, yeah. She said, where are you fishing? I said, well, I'm going down to Buffalo Ford tomorrow. She said, well, you need some of these. So she sold me these big, gaudy-looking gray drake, foam gray drakes, like a size 12. So I took my son down there, and we got down there, and we were the only ones catching fish. We had people coming up to us and saying, what are y'all using?
You say you need to go talk to that girl.
Yeah.
So I get home, I emailed Craig Matthews, who at the time owned Blue Ribbon Flies. He may still do it on him. And I said, I don't know who the young lady was that helped me, but and it was his daughter.
That's cool.
So she probably knew more about trout fishing than I have possibly known. So yeah, but gray drakes on the Yellowstone.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
It's fun. I enjoy fishing that.
Yeah. When Mr. Steve told me to go down there to the Cottonwood, so I had to cross over Soda Butte Creek, and I started crossing over Soda Butte, and then here come all these gray drakes up. I'm like, well, that's cool. I don't have any though. Right? And
Nothing.
and,
That's right.
I had nothing like that at all. Nothing at all. And when I got over to the
for $9.99, I'll sell you one.
and it's like so when I got into the Lamar, there was no bugs coming off, right? So I'm fishing and I'm working a kind of a foam line next to some deadfall, man, and I'm catching just on a whim. I said, I'm going to throw this hopper, right? This foam hopper, and boom, immediately started getting eats and getting fish, which was great. So after we're done, they get back. I'm like, guys, did you see the gray drakes? So like, yeah. The fish were rising everywhere up there. So just that close away, I had no fish rising and no gray drakes, where they had fish rising and they were casting the fish, and they were catching the fish they were casting to. And I was so happy for those guys that they got to experience that. But speaking of Buffalo Ford, man, I got flanked. I got flanked on three sides by the bison, buffalo, and
American bison.
And all I had was bear spray.
It'd probably work.
It might have, but these things are pretty doggone big, right?
Yeah.
So they're over there grunting and doing their things and stuff like that, and they're wallering, and then I'm fishing, I catch fish, and I do the little video, right? Hey,
fish
big
report,
mess
yeah.
celebrity out here. Let's show you the world, right? Well, then I look, and here comes a pronghorn. You know, I'm watching all these people on TV hunt these things, and they can't get close. I watch people bow hunting, and they're crawling on their stomach, and they're lying there for an hour and a half to try to get a shot. This thing's walking up to me, right? And it's doing
every
its
time
thing.
I've walked through that section, I've seen pronghorn, and they're like 50 feet away.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
They're just
You know?
hanging out.
You know, I was amazed at that. I saw saw some grizzly tracks in that particular area.
Yeah.
But I'm watching, and these buffalo, and they cross over the river and stuff. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to get back out of here.
Yeah.
Because I had never, been that close to that. And they're rutting. They're doing their thing. I didn't want to get run off. So
You didn't want to be in the rut?
no,
we pushed
it. Hey, I didn't want to be no lip curl dude. Ain't nobody going.
You were literally stuck in the rut.
I was stuck in the rut, no doubt. I was
Our group
about to
pushed
be.
it. We
Yeah.
I told him, like, look, we're going to see some of these big old fellas over here on the sides by themselves,
Right.
sitting in the shade,
Yeah.
that kind of deal.
Mhm.
Well, we're fishing up through here, and John, my father-in-law, he's kind of doing his shuffle, coming up through the creek, slow and steady.
Right.
Well, this big fella over here on the bank, he's probably 50 yards away. He decides, well, it's time to stand up and stretch.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm watching you. And so John had previously, he had seen one that was way off. He's like, well, that bison's too close. And I was like, John, don't worry about it. If you hear me get excited, that's when you need to worry about it. All right. So this bison, he starts walking towards John. And John's just doing his shuffle, coming up the creek. And I said, John, get out of the river. And he's like, oh, yeah, these rocks are slick. This river's wet. Oh, that rock moved on me, I was like, yeah. And then I look at the bison. I look at John, and he's maybe 30 feet now.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like,
yeah.
it's time to move. And so I changed my tone. I had to yell. I mean, it was windy, really windy, and you got the sound of the current. So I was like, John, get out of the river.
Yeah.
Dude walked on water.
Yeah. Did he?
Hey, I've never seen that man wade so confidently. He just like, he had his little wading staff, and I pointed, and he looked, and then just immediately he could wade just fine.
Yeah.
And he got it. But that bison, he sure enough, man, he come right through where he was at.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm bigger than you. I'm going to come through you.
Right.
And Doug, you got flanked.
Yeah.
I think Doug thought he was going to flank them. And I look up from leaving John.
Yeah.
Doug's up here, man. We had to. We for a while. I was like, we had him on, but I was like, we're too far in here,
Right.
But it was cool. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys standing at the cars, looking through their spotting scopes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
y'all guys just got to get down in here.
I know. So I was thinking as I'm walking back, there's people over there with their binoculars and some with spotting scopes, and I'm walking. Right here's pronghorn. Hey, I'm right here, people, and look where you're at over there. I'm in the middle of it. Hey, I kind of
You're
joke.
like, oh, that guy's got a wedgie.
That's right. I made the first thing that popped into my mind is I felt like I was on an episode in Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. You remember old Bob? Bob will attempt to wrestle the water buffalo. You remember that right there? You're too young. Great show too, though. It was a really
That's
good
for
show.
that side of the table.
Yeah, but for this side, the smart side. But I really felt like that because I was like surrounded in a different element,
Yeah.
total different topography,
Oh, yeah.
type of vegetation, types of wildlife. It was.
Well, I told our guys, I said, we went through the gates. And I said, all right, boys, we're inside the zoo now.
That's a good way to say it.
Inside, like we're inside the fences.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things out here that will take care of you.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
And you take so I get back to the Suburban and I'm watching and I see Nicholas and I think Eric and Walt. Man, they're having to make a long trek back. It's because they got flanked by the buffalo too. So we all at that moment had that experience with that. And then of course we went and ate lunch and we went and fished some more in Soda Butte. But on the way out, man, all the buffalo, there was a vast majority in the road.
Oh yeah, you get the buffalo jam.
Oh, dude, it was but they was about to give a little bit of an education to some kids.
Oh really?
rated
They
R.
were that close?
No,
They're not fighting. They're, yeah.
Yes, it would have been. Yeah, some parents would have had to do some quick talking. It's like get your popcorn ready, kind of moment. But there was an RV. Ran into an RV. Somebody made too sharp of a turn coming out of an area, and there's one unhappy wife out there. I guaranteed you that somebody was not happy. But we get out down there, and we get down there close to where there's an elk herd that hangs out, and we're in a big traffic jam. And I look, I could see,
the elk herd that shows up on cue, right?
So what's happening though is there's a bunch of cows running down, cow elk running down. I'm like, dude, they're running. Something is chasing these things. I mean, they're on a sprint. Well, we got within view, and there's this massive bull, and he says, hear him.
Mm-hmm.
And one takes off and tries
His
to
lady
go.
friend.
By God, he went and cut that one off and chased her back, and then started bugling, and stuff. And that was like, okay, that was worth kind of stopping here for a minute to see that behavior.
It is cool to see that stuff.
So
man.
to see that was neat. I mean, I hadn't seen that behavior like where one chases one back here. I mean, we hear them bugle and other
it's
stuff.
like
But
fishing
was
in
pretty
Nat
cool.
Geo.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, you're on an episode of Nat Geo.
Well, you know that at one point in time there was about 24 buffalo out there. So now they've expanded to what they are now. So I kind of felt like we might have seen a lot of them. I know we did.
What was the story you were saying earlier about the wolf and Nick? Dale?
Yeah, so a few days before our group, we had two full days of guided fishing and then a day off. And of course, on that day off, we're going to go fishing on our own, not guided. The way we went to Lamar Valley.
Yeah.
Well, a day or two before our group got there, Nicholas was our other guide. Oh boy, he
About knocked everything off.
they had a trip out in Yellowstone, and we're walking back and had to wait on a bison herd to basically cross in front of them. And this, and you're talking 500 head of bison. I mean, you might be standing there half an hour.
Yeah, they don't move fast.
But, and they're, I guess they're 100 yards away from them or so, a safe distance, and he said, next thing you know, here comes this wolf trotting between the bison and Nicholas and his guests. And he's got a pronghorn. The wolf had a pronghorn fawn in its mouth.
Just running.
And he said he'd have to like take a break, set the carcass down, and was like, real nervous, like head on a swivel, making sure there wasn't nothing coming up going to take his kill. And that's a wolf impression if y'all ever seen one.
You'll see that on camera. Dale's wolf
pack.
Head on a swivel, man. That's how we work. But I mean, you really have to fish with a head on a swivel because just like that, wildlife can come up on you. Like the bison just decided he's going to walk through John.
Yeah.
Doug and I ended up fishing up on a bison carcass that like the day before had 10 bears on it. And I mean,
I forgot you told me about that. Yeah,
I didn't know this.
That's when Ranger Rick got us.
Oh man, I didn't know this.
All right. So here's a good one.
Here's a story.
So Doug and I, we left John and Tom downriver, and we're searching for these Lamar Valley cutthroat. And I told Doug, I said, we find one, we find 20. I promise you. Like, we just got to keep moving and finding them. Well, we come to a hole, we find them. And I had a refusal. I was like, Doug, I was nice. I said, Doug, get up here and get this fish. I've caught one before. I wanted Doug to get one. Nice. I'm a nice host. Doug comes in there, smash. There's one. There they are. He's like, well, man, I know there was 2 or 3 that came up for that flight at the same time. Go ahead and cast it. Okay. Dale got his, And he says, go get John and Tom and get them up here and let's get them in here in this hole. And let's at least everybody can catch some fish today because it had been slow for those guys. I didn't realize we had walked upstream a mile. I mean, it happens quick. So I'm like running, and I realize I'm running down this road in Yellowstone, and I'm not panicked by any means, but
You're running.
Traffic jams happen in Yellowstone for less.
Oh yeah, they're like, why's that guy running? Let's stop and watch. Something's chasing.
So I was like, okay, power walk. Power walk. Here we go. So John's already back at the truck. Tom he's left Tom. I'm like, John, you can't leave Tom. You have to stay buddies out here.
Yeah.
So we get Tom. We jump. All right, said, boys, we're on him up here. Let's go get him. So we go up here. Tom and I rig back up. We've got our fly poles in our hands. We're walking down, and it's like the river's right here. Truck's right there. It's real close. Tom says, well, look at that. And I look at it. Trail closed. Trail area around this part closed. I said, Tom, we here to fish. I said, Tom, I'll pay your ticket, whatever. We're going, okay? Doug is like, we see Doug. Doug's casting. Doug's fishing. We're going fishing. We walked up from downstream. We didn't see this sign. So no more than 30 seconds goes by. I hear this whistle like a referee. And I turn around, and it's Ranger Rick. I call him Ranger. I don't know what his name was. I call him Ranger Rick. We had a wildlife show growing up and called Ranger Rick. But he's back here blowing, and John is like got his arms folded on the Suburban, leaned back laughing. You know, he actually said Ranger Rick fumbled the whistle to.
Yeah.
You know, like Barney Fife. Okay, straight up Barney Fife moment. We're talking about Mayberry Garden. So he comes. Well, don't you see that sign? It says it's closed. Now keep in mind, I just told Tom we're gonna pay his ticket.
Right.
No. You said you were
You was good. You
I said,
was
Tom,
good.
don't worry. I said, Tom, I will pay your ticket. And then 30 seconds later, here's the whistle, right? And I'm thinking, oh, Dale.
How big is this ticket gonna be?
Yeah.
We have fly rods in our hands. I said, sir, we came up from downstream. I went back to the car, drove back up here. We're going down here to get our buddy out of the river, Doug. Doug's still, we're going to get him out. We got fly poles in our hands.
Yeah.
He looks at the poles. He looks at, oh, okay, that'll be fine, you know.
Yeah.
I said, and so, but he points at Doug to go downstream. I was like, no. Why are we gonna make him walk another mile downstream? And he tells us that, you know, the bears have been on the carcass, and I mean, and we saw there were prints down there, bear, crazy, wolf, all of it, and been in there, you know.
Yeah.
But we get back up there, and this was just insult to injury. Get Doug back up there, Tom. Ranger Rick left. Like, he went back the other way to find somebody to yell at. This couple pulls in front of us, gets out of the truck. They didn't see the sign.
Right.
They walked down on in there.
Yeah.
Doug's like, this is dumb. I'm going back. Doug walks away. Doug doesn't realize his net has fallen down
Oh no.
off of his
no.
net release.
Oh no.
He's like dragging it.
He's walking off all big and bad, dragging his net on his net release through the sage.
Oh
I
no.
mean, it was totally like, and that's, you know, that's the equivalent of the TP on the foot.
Yeah.
Walking out. But yeah, Doug went back and he came back. But yeah, Ranger Rick got us, man.
Yeah.
30 seconds after I said, Tom, well, he let us go. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I was just like, man, I do not want this federal ticket.
Whew.
But that couple didn't see. I mean, they did a shoddy job on these signs.
Right.
I mean, I could have just been looking around and walked right by this thing.
It's just probably like the signs they put up here about don't remove the stones or stack the stones. They're very minuscule.
Yeah.
I you know.
Well, I
Times
also
New
know-
Roman,
I
size
also know
14.
A lot of the people out there, and obviously there's tons of tourists, so they check for the kill report every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they know, like, oh, don't go in that area because the kill report says there's a kill.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So-
that existed.
It's almost like checking the generation schedule, you know? So it's like seeing the news for Great Smoky
Yeah,
Mountain.
well,
You
it-
go to
Planet of the
Thanksgiving
Day.
alerts,
It
yeah.
made complete sense why the fishing was so great.
Yeah, it hadn't
Yeah.
been fished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, just
Yeah.
trail closed. Like, that's just how it works.
There you
Bear
go.
Dude, you should have been like,
stream.
sir, we're not using the trail. We're going to the river.
It said trail /
Trails
area.
closed. Yeah. Oh, area. Still didn't say
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, the Park Service has lawyers too. But I mean, seriously though,
Yeah,
we walked
right.
up from downstream. There's no way we would have known, and we
Right.
ended up being about 100 yards from his carcass and didn't
Right.
know it.
Yeah.
So, and you know, a grizzly or a
Bear spray. You gotta have
we
bear spray.
had bear spray. That's
Gotta have
right.
it out there.
Yeah.
A grizzly or you know, a territorial wolf could have gotten really aggressive there.
Sure.
So,
And they can cover that ground quite
Ooh,
rapidly.
Oh, they're fast. Man.
Very rapidly.
All of them are.
Man, that's-
Even bison that look slow, they can move.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it's time, they'll do it.
Mhm.
But
See-
it just seems like everything out there is big, even the fish, and wild. You know.
Yeah.
The bugs, the fish, everything.
Yeah, hoppers.
Man, just imagine going through there when no one else had ever been there before.
It's true.
I mean, somebody had to.
That's right. Steve,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
your closest encounter out there?
Well, I'm
With
going
wildlife.
back to
You got some real
Shannon's
stuff.
story. We were talking earlier. I fished that area right around the confluence where you're talking about. And I remember one afternoon I went in there and the wind was blowing really, really hard. Nothing was rising. Didn't see any fish. So I get down close to the river there, and it's not that big.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm walking through the grass, I'm kicking up hoppers.
Yeah.
And they're flying out over the water and crashing into the water. And it literally looked like somebody was throwing trout chow in the water.
Wow.
And they would just boil the water for like 15 or 20 seconds, and then they disappear. And you know how clear the water is, and you can see the bottom, and you're like, where'd they go? You know, there's no fish here.
That's right.
And then you walk down 10 feet, you kick the grass again. The hoppers go out there, and here come the fish boiling the water just out of nowhere. But
He said, "Hey, Mark, go kick that grass. I'm gonna go down here."
but yeah, you talking about the bear carcass? There's a campsite. If you would have went a little farther up, there's a stream that comes in called Cache Creek. And there's a backcountry campsite there, and we have camped there in that backcountry campsite. And had bears come into our camp, tear up our gear, and got jacked up by Ranger Rick.
Ranger Rick.
We hung all our food up, but we had a water filter hanging low in the tree on a tree branch, and apparently there was some food scent on the water filter, and the bear just crushed. It was one of those Katahdin, you pump.
Oh yeah.
The bear just crushed it.
Wow.
I had a plastic insulated coffee cup that had 2 holes about the size of your little finger in it, where he bit down on my coffee cup.
Wow.
And we had we had a messy camp. We burned a lot of trash in our campfire, which we weren't supposed to do, and the bear pawed around in the campfire.
Is there a statute of limitations on media here?
I don't think they're going to extradite me for that. But if they do,
Steve's not his real name. That's just his radio.
bring me cigarettes. But so yeah. But that's a very productive stretch of Lamar River. And you were talking about the bears. I was in Gardner, right outside the north entrance there one day eating lunch. We were sick of backpacking and trail mix, and so we went into Gardner to get a steak dinner. And there's a cafe there, and I forget the name of it, but came highly recommended. So I was by myself. I go in there, and they seat me at a table for 2, and the place was packed. So there were no other seats in the restaurant. And this lady came to the door, and she was looking around, and she looked over toward my table, and I told the waiter, I said, if she's looking for a place to sit, she's welcome to dine with me. So she come over there and sat down and introduced myself, and she was Judy the Bear Lady. And I said, how do you get the name Judy the Bear Lady? She said, I do bear tours in the park. She's got a 12-passenger van, and she goes around to the lodging and picks up people. And
the Cullowhee equivalent here is Scuba Steve.
There you go.
So Judy the Bear Lady, and what she does, she monitors the Park Service rangers' frequency for bear jams. So she knows where the current bear jams are before she even starts her day, and she knows where all the carcasses are because the rangers have been chatting about them. Wow. She's got all this information, so she just rides around from carcass to carcass, and they'll get out of the van with their binoculars and sit there for 45 minutes, hour. If they don't see a bear, they'll go on to the next carcass.
Wow.
So, Judy the Bear Lady. But,
that's cool.
I did see a van that had something about tours like that.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been Judy.
Could have been Judy.
Yeah.
I did. There were some people with spotting scopes parked in front of us when we were gearing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all see anything?
Check this stuff.
You're
See
probably,
that cottonwood?
You're probably
Check
the
around that
500th
for
person
me.
that's asking
That's
that.
right.
Yeah, well,
day.
I was like, I said, I know you're seeing bison. I see them down there. Are you seeing anything else?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
Right
no,
in there, they're there for the wolves, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's usually what. Yeah.
Well, and that's
That
the
whole
eerie
north.
part. Jack and I last year fished a place, and there's fresh wolf tracks. You know, and certainly Lamar. I think it's 75% of the park wildlife is in that valley, and then the other 25 is in Hayden. You know, it's like packed, and like you always have the feeling you're being watched.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I know, and there were some fresh baby calves in this bison herd, so
The bears were around.
And you got the carcass. Well, yeah, and the wolves.
The elk are dropping their young ones too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, really active time in Yellowstone to be there, and so cool to see all that and be able to fish it. I mean,
It is, man.
You're touching cutthroats that probably never seen a human being before.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Catch them the size you do.
And then speaking of,
Not pictured.
oh, that's pretty good, Bobby. All right.
I'm used to it.
But we ate well.
Oh yes.
You know, we
the
meals
logic
we ate
wheels
on
are
this
good.
trip. Holy
That's right.
cow!
We
So-
ate really good.
I heard Shannon had the whitefish dialed in.
Yeah, yeah. So there was kind of the thing there. Apparently, on the way out out there as we got past Ennis. Eric and Jeff had fished out there a couple of years ago, and it was quite colder at the time. But Eric, they were floating, and Eric was catching some pretty nice brown trout. But all Jeff could catch was whitefish. So the talking started at that point. And so the last day came, and after lunch there was a little bit of, a little banter going on about that. So I said, I'll get on this. Like they were making the whitefish thing sound like it was a bad thing. I know if I want to do this, I want to go catch. And I caught two, what I call, good size.
And they got fins. They pull hard.
Man, I get some two good sized whitefish. And I caught that first one, and I said, yeah. And I showed up and look at this. I looking at me like, dude, what's wrong with you? But if I, if I'm going to.
Is he with us?
I'm like, oh, let's catch some whitefish, right? But no, I couldn't dethrone Jeff.
He's from that other fly shop.
Yeah. So Jeff is still the defending undisputed whitefish champion of the world, as we know right now. So that's kind of his title there. But the food back at the lodge was excellent. Ribs, some
good
flank
in the
steak.
pictures.
Yeah.
The enchiladas. For me, man, the lasagna. The lasagna
was fantastic.
good.
Doug and I, we were, we were on the plant base. So I mean,
Yep.
and they were very accommodating.
Yes.
Every meal we had, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, entirely plant based, and they sort of took it as a challenge and totally accepted it. And they've prepared for keto before and different diets like that. But man, the food was amazing.
Yeah. So just to let you folks know, man, we're planning on doing this again next year.
Yeah, man.
I'm not speaking out.
It's
I'm not speaking
happening.
out of context.
It's just a matter of how many we can take.
Yeah.
And how many trips.
Mhm.
We've got one. It's about half full already, and then we've got some folks that have already called in and getting on a list. So we'll take as many as we can, as many trips as we can. So we know the middle of August. So if you're thinking about it, look at your schedule for the middle of August, and it sounds like we'll do a 5-day trip and then the 7-day trip, kind of like we did this year. So kind of look at your schedule and just leave August open.
Yep.
So
Who knows? We may do a June one again for the Henry Stork. And
that I think should happen, and I want to see it in some different seasons like fall.
Right.
Like I want to see maybe early November out there.
Yeah.
And-
Because it was supposed to snow out there today. Today's Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah, so it was supposed to be 25 this morning with the moisture coming in. It's just not a matter of if, it's just a matter
That's
of where
right.
it was going to snow out there. The
See,
last
I don't know if I'd want to go into October because the park closes November 1st. You can't fish the park.
So then in October,
Yeah, October.
I want to see that. I want number one.
late September, October.
I want to see the aspens colored up. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
They are pretty. I've seen them in other
But
places.
like right now, when we went, a lot of that the parts of the Madison in the park are too warm to fish.
Yeah, the fire hole
Yeah.
and the gibbon and all
And
that.
so
Right.
I'd like to check those out in October when they cool off and some.
So yeah, we might be able to do a trip then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Steve, you gonna go in October?
Get Steve to help us host one.
Yeah, October's a good time for the big brown trout.
Yeah.
Well, the Madison down there where it
Mm-hmm.
goes into West Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Lewis River down on the
Yep.
southern end of the
Yeah.
park.
Oh, yeah.
Both good
Yeah.
brown trout fisheries.
That's right.
In the fall.
And
And the Madison outside the park.
And we didn't even talk about the snake and the Madison that
Yeah,
much.
John and I
on
fished
this.
the snake.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's another good fishery, which I know we're pushing an hour, so we can't talk all the
There's
time.
not a bad one out there. I
No,
don't think,
there's
is there?
not.
No, it just depends on
Absolutely.
what you're in the mood for.
Absolutely.
Grayling Creek is terrible. There's no grayling.
It's just a
There's
name.
no
man.
grayling in Grayling
It's just
Creek.
a name.
That's unbelievable.
Beats all I've ever witnessed.
It's like Brook Trout Creek, no brook trout.
Fake news.
Fake news.
But with that being said, though, people are still fishing here.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Good water
That's
flow.
right.
Yeah.
Fishing
Fishing
report.
Fishing report. Fishing report. Fishing report.
We're gonna come up with a better joke.
That's right, man.
Need to hit that button on that jingle.
And I got to come up with a jingle button for that. We're going to make it real
If
simple.
anybody can code that for us.
That hasn't been high on the priority
We need
list.
Baker. We'll get Baker in here.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Well, it seems like while I was up there, we kind of made a turn out of the hot summer towards cool here.
Yeah, it's
I mean, it
definitely
cooled off like 55 one night, and while I was out west, and then so when I get back, I get to our waters have really cooled off. Instead of seeing 66 in the morning, we're seeing 62, 58s in the morning for water temps, and that makes a world of difference. Still oranges, still yellows, oranges coming in.
Yes.
So, your orange stimulators, you can start tossing some of those. And we've got an orange soft tackle here in the bins that's been doing really well on all the creeks. But, for the most part, leave the tuck alone. Just wait till delayed harvest and they stop.
Go fish the park.
And just be on the creeks. I mean, I saw some folks come in today that were really disappointed because they fished the tuck, and it's like, oh, we need to talk. Let's talk about this ahead of time to not disappoint you. Like, just stay off the tuck right now. For the bass, it's just been too turbid.
The tuck is our fire hole in Madison and Gibbon. It's too hot right now.
That's it.
It's
a good way to say
it's
that,
a winter
man.
game.
I was amazed how many rivers out there you couldn't fish because they were too hot.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I feel like, oh, it's the southeast, man. And it just gets too hot. No, it happens.
It's everywhere.
It's just everywhere's got
It's
that.
part of summer.
It's everywhere. It's
But yeah, we're making the turn towards fall. I'm excited. I think we were talking today. We think it's coming.
Dale's got his hat on.
I'm ready.
He's ready. He's got his
Dove
orange
season
hat.
next week or Friday. What's today? Monday. Friday. Dove season opens. So I've got my Blaze Orange, Big Sky Anglers rocking it. So we're gonna get out there and try not to get peppered. So
Shannon's got his Slough Creek on
That's right.
from out there.
That trailhead was
And
packed.
me and
so
Steve are just rocking the tuck fly
Yeah.
shop ones. So
Yeah, absolutely.
nice hat game, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some pictures of some brown trout that people are catching already in the park, and
Well, Andy said he did
Yeah.
great up on Bradley Fork.
yeah,
Wasn't it Andy that was in here about that? Who was in here about Bradley Fork?
Yeah, I knew that too.
And they told us how great it was.
Yeah, it was.
is
Brian.
that the Shannons look like? Quit talking about that creek.
No,
No,
everybody knows about that one.
Andy was in another area of the park.
Man, that's going to annoy me. I can't remember who came in and talked about the.
Mr. Trantham did.
Oh, that's who it was. Yes,
Yeah.
it was
He was
Ryan.
out there with my father.
It was Ryan. That's right.
Yeah, you see, the camper was over there in F Loop, so we went
Yeah.
up there and fished with my father-in-law one day when I was in
Okay.
here working. So, yeah, I think they did that maybe on some tungsten surveyors type stuff like that. They got them on those, but I moved a big brown on the Lufty the Sunday before going out.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last day I fished here, and I waited specifically to go late.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get on the water until about 7 o'clock, so I had a
Yep.
short window. I was specifically looking for a specific fish, and it was a good one.
Trying to fish that witching hour.
It was
There it is.
that which it was a good one.
Steve,
so,
you been fishing, man? What you
I
got?
have. I went a couple of weeks ago in the park, went up high,
Yeah.
Messer Branch,
Oh yeah, there you go.
my honey hole. And, we started down low, and the water was, like you said, 65, 66. Then went up high, and it was 64. It wasn't much cooler, but the fish liked it.
That's it.
So,
yeah.
and we caught brook trout.
Yeah.
So, yeah, above 4,000 feet
Mhm.
2 weeks ago. And like
It's
you
that
said,
time
now-
of year for it.
That was you and Alan, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They'll
Me
Did you
and
and
Alan.
Mark get out the other day when I saw you?
No.
Yeah.
No. But
Y'all made a run.
we had ribs on the smoker. We couldn't go fishing.
Priorities.
egg
There
baby
you
was
go.
working.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, good deal. Well, awesome.
That's fantastic.
Well, man, it's a good show.
Absolutely, guys.
we could talk about that one
Yeah,
every
good-
show and
Good
fill it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good scuttlebutt as always. But anyway, so I guess it's about time to close this bad boy out and go home.
Thanks again, Big Sky Angler,
Steve,
Steve,
man.
Joe, Jonathan,
Absolutely.
Georgia Drifter. Thanks for
Sir.
being here, man.
Enjoy.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody that went out there with us.
That's right.
Thank you. If it wasn't for them going,
They make it happen.
we'd still be in here, wouldn't we? Well, good deal, man. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon, sponsored by Brady's Handmade Nets. Like a little WWE action going on there, right? Be sure to follow Tuckasegee Fly Shop and all the major social media platforms for all the latest and happening videos. Be sure to check out that virtual guide series for sure. Have a question or comment, send them to info@tuckflyshop.com or via snail mail at Tuck Fly Shop, 530 West Main Street, Silva, North Carolina, 28779. We're not getting no mail, so how are we supposed to vote by mail? I don't figure that one out yet. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.